So I'm Michelle Canfield, and my husband and I, Kirk, we have Canfield Farms, and we primarily raise grass-fed natural lamb, and then we also sell eggs from pastured poultry. And we live just south of downtown Snohomish in the Snohomish River Valley. We have 14 acres, and we do management-intensive grazing, so we usually move the sheep every 2 to 5 days onto clean pasture, so that way they kind of graze one section down, and then that gets to rest for a month or two before the sheep are back on it again. So we have 2 border collies that we use to move the sheep around, and then 2 guardian dogs that live with the sheep and protect them from predators. And people sometimes don't understand the difference at the 2 different breeds. So the border collies could never live out with the sheep, or they would be running them up and down the pasture all day, versus the guardian dogs don't really chase the sheep. They're there to just protect them. So we sell direct market, so lamb on the hoof, and consumers either purchase lambs from us and we drop them off at the local custom butcher in downtown Snohomish, or they can come out here and do their own on-farm slaughter. So I work off farm during the day, so my normal days are doing some chores in the morning and just checking on animals, and then when I come home from work, usually I've got about an hour's worth of chores, so it's not a huge amount of overhead. The sheep mostly take care of themselves, other than just feeding them and managing their health and keeping an eye on them. And then during birthing season, I take 2 weeks off from work to manage the heavier load then. Oh, I love working with animals and working outside, and I think I had a strong interest in kind of figuring out how to get food to the table. I just enjoy raising natural meat, and like everybody had concerns about our food system and how things are produced, and wanted to produce more of my own natural food. And my husband likes to grow vegetables and fruit, and so we just like having our own stuff that we grow, that we know what went into it. For me, I really enjoy working with the animals and just the science, and kind of marrying technology of, there's a lot of new things we can do with genetic selection and measuring performance of animals to improve their efficiency, and kind of marrying that with some of the old ways of how people used to farm, that it's kind of a nice blend that we can do today, that I think we realize to some extent that we've gone too far with technology and big factory farms and sort of overproducing in that way to get price down. And so now we need to find that middle ground where we blend a little bit more of old-fashioned farming with new technology to find some way where we're respecting the environment and the animals and producing good quality food. I think people enjoy coming out and just getting reconnected with agriculture and how food gets to the table. It seems like our society is really changing that way, and that people for several generations wanted to be separated from it and not really be aware, but now people do want to know what's going on and want to come visit and see the animals that they might be eating later, and make sure that they're raised respectfully and carefully, and that the meat they're going to be eating is good. So people seem to be really eager to come out and kind of learn, both the pros and the cons, the challenges that we face of, losing animals, or the tough side of it, as well as the fun side of animals being born and the cuteness of lambs. We've kind of seen as people lose touch with where their food comes from and just buy it from the grocery store and stop asking questions, that unacceptable practices start to emerge. If all we select on is just low price, that the industry is going to respond by cutting corners in environmental concerns, as well as animal welfare and quality of products. So consumers really need to be asking questions about, where does my food come from, how are those animals cared for, and what kind of medications are you using, how are you treating the animals, what are they eating, and we really need to know, so that we're demanding good quality products and just ethical practices. I think in general it's just nice to see the community, really seeking out local farmers, going to farmers markets, being willing to drive to a farm to pick up eggs. I have some people that drive all the way here from Everett because they really want pastured eggs, and this is where they can find them. And so I think people being willing to, do more of the European model of maybe driving a couple places to get different groceries versus expecting it all to be in the supermarket and at a low price. And being willing to pay, farmers won't farm if it doesn't make decent money and is too risky. So people need to be willing to pay for this kind of food, the way it's grown, and something that meets our value system. So I think things are changing, that consumers are realizing you can't just always look for 99 cents a pound chicken, or what goes behind that is probably not something you're going to be happy with. Yeah, so we do accommodate the halal market here. So there are a lot of people that, for either religious or just philosophical reasons, want to do their own slaughter, and it also saves them money, obviously, versus paying a butcher to do it. And so we welcome that here, and I actually really enjoy those customers. They treat the animals very respectfully, and it's really great for the animals because there's no transport involved. They're just right here on the farm and killed in a very humane manner. So that's a great market, and it's really growing around here. Our region has definitely a lot of ethnics from different communities that are really looking for lamb, and we definitely can't produce enough to serve that market. I think the most interesting challenge of farming today is just the consumer has so little knowledge about farm that, people have gotten so far away generationally from farming that just educating people about what we're about and why we do what we do. And, a lot of consumers have concerns about using antibiotics in meat and what factory farms are doing and ask us, do you use any medications at all? And of course we use some because animals get sick sometimes and it wouldn't be best for the animal if you use no medication ever. So we really try to find that balance and middle ground, and I think it's just challenging to help consumers kind of understand that they're asking a lot of questions and giving them the answers that they're looking for of, are you taking care of the environment, are you respecting the animals, and are you making a good, healthy product that we want to eat?